everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. In this video, I want to talk about some recent reports, some recent speculations that have come up about the Toronto Blue Jays' future, and specifically what happens if this team doesn't make playoffs. At the time of recording this video, the Blue Jays are one game out of a wildcard spot, and Fangraphs currently has the Toronto Blue Jays playoff odds at 69.2. Nice. So even though experts are thinking that more times than not the Jays will make playoffs, there still is a significant chance that things don't go according to plan. So let's walk down that rabbit hole a little bit and determine what will happen if the Toronto Blue Jays don't make playoffs. Let's first start with the management. Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins have been the head of this team for several years now. Mark Shapiro has been serving as the team president and CEO since 2015, and Ross Atkins has been serving as the GM since 2015 as well. When Toronto Blue Jays fans think about Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins, we often associate them with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and we're right to do so. That entire rebuild that happened after 2016, where the Blue Jays traded away a bunch of their players and stocked up on young talent, that was orchestrated by these two guys with the hope of building something special. Now, even though the Toronto Blue Jays have been competitive the last few years, we really haven't seen any major results coming from that rebuild at all. This is a graphic that indicates the teams that have won a playoff game since 2017, and as we can see, the Toronto Blue Jays are one of 9 teams that have yet to get it done. That's been the entirety of the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette era, and if we don't make playoffs this year, then that's just another season where this core isn't going to be able to put a tally in the postseason win column. And at this point, if they don't make playoffs, it's kind of hard to be looking at anyone else other than Ross Atkins. The Offside writes, one of Atkins' main additions at the trade deadline, infielder Paul DeJong, was designated for assignment over the weekend, with the team mostly sticking to their guns without making major in-season changes. If the Jays fail to have a successful end of the season, it's hard to point the fingers at anywhere but Atkins for his roster construction and relative lack of action at the trade deadline. And honestly, folks, I think that they're onto something here. The report also goes on to cite the Varsho trade as being something that Atkins will often be remembered for, and even though Varsho's starting to turn it on recently, that entire trade has left a pretty sour taste in people's mouths. So Atkins, in my opinion, and this analyst's opinion as well, could very well be out of a job at the end of the year if the Toronto Blue Jays don't make postseason. Shapiro, on the other hand, is a very different story, and it's all got to do with the Rogers Center.
Whoa, time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
The Offside says, for an ownership group in Rogers that seems often adverse to change, firing Shapiro midway through a massive $300 million renovation might be quite the hassle. It might be strange to think that a stadium could save someone's job, but it's hard to see the president getting the boot this winter, no matter how the season ends. At the end of the day, folks, money talks, and if Shapiro is doing a good job with this renovation, they're probably gonna hold on to him. So that's the ownership side of things. Atkins probably out, Shapiro staying in, but what about John Schneider? Schneider, in my opinion, even though he does have his faults, is still going to be in a job after this season. He has a great career winning percentage up until this point, and honestly, I don't think that this season is on him. The support staff though, and specifically the hitting coaches, yeah, I don't think anything's saving them. When you're seeing headlines about your coaching staff tweeting minutes before the game about something completely unrelated, it is not a good look, folks, and it's not the direction I assume the Toronto Blue Jays want to take their team. Next, let's talk players, because if the Blue Jays don't make postseason, then I think you might see a little bit of a change in mindset surrounding their team makeup. The young kids that we've all been talking about, I think that they're gonna get their chance. Spencer Horwitz, Addison Barger, maybe even Orelvis Martinez, they're gonna be given the opportunity to prove themselves, and probably a lot of these older guys on one-year contracts like Chapman and Belt and Merrifield, they're most likely going to hit free agency. Now, on the flip side, if the Toronto Blue Jays do make postseason and maybe win the wild card series off of a big Matt Chapman home run, that obviously is going to change things. At this point, if the Toronto Blue Jays don't make postseason, then I have to agree with the Offside here and say that the most likely guy to get cut is Ross Atkins. Hopefully, everybody, we can just hit on that 69% chance, though, and this entire conversation becomes irrelevant. But guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jays go!